Trinadapi Sunichena, Turadiva Sahishnuna, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahari. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nastyeva, 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 Gatiranyata. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gora Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Story of Tulsi, Chapter 11. The war begins. The fight between the demigods and demons began, and both sides fought righteously. A detailed list is given of the opposing fighters. Many mystical and supernatural weapons were hurled, and numerous demigods and demons were slain. The fight between the demigods and demons was fought righteously. Though the combat was terrible and it was tumultuous, it was pleasurable to the fighters. Then the demigods were defeated. Many were wounded by weapons and missiles, and they were frightened, so they fled the battlefield. Chapter 12. Kartikeya and Kali enter the battle. Disturbed, the demigods cried out, "O Lord, please save us! Please save us!" Lord Shiva, noting the demigods' defeat and hearing their fearful cries, became greatly enraged. He ordered his son, the great hero Kartikeya, to attack the enemy. Fighting courageously with hosts of demons, Kartikeya shouted angrily and roared heroically, killing 100 Akshauhinis in battle. Then Goddess Kali, her eyes like a red lotus, chopped off the demons' heads, drank their blood, and rapidly ate their flesh. She fought in many different ways, frightening both the demons and the demigods. With one hand, she grabbed 10 million elephants and 10 million men and playfully shoved them into her mouth. Kartikeya then again became furious. Kali assisted Kartikeya, and together they won the battle. Shankachuta saw the appalling spectacle wrought by Kartikeya and Kali. Now furious, Shankachuta prepared for battle. Shankachuta enlivened and encouraged his men, especially when sitting in the middle of his diamond-studded airplane. Shankachuta drew his bowstring to his ear and discharged volleys of arrows. These arrows resembled a shower of rain and covered the entire battlefield with intense darkness. It was relieved only by occasional flashes of fire. As Nandishvara and other demigods fled, Kartikeya stayed on. Kartikeya looked like the sun covered by thick sheets of frost, and then Shankachuta showered mountains, serpents, pythons, and trees. It was so horrendous they could not be resisted. Shankachuta broke Kartikeya's Rathkar, cutting it to pieces, his bow, chariot, and horses. Shankachuta shattered his peacock carrier. Then Shankachuta hurled his effulgent spear at Kartikeya's chest, and the force of the blow caused him to fall unconscious. Quickly regaining consciousness, Kartikeya took up his weapons and missiles and fought awesomely. Roaring and shouting repeatedly like a hero, he split Shankachuda's armor and crown, and then hurled his blazing spear at the demon's chest. All of a sudden, Shankachuda collapsed unconscious. But within a second, that powerful Asura regained consciousness and roared. Shankachuda caused a tremendous downpour of arrows upon Kartikeya that completely enshrouded him. Then Shankachuda grabbed an invincible iron spear, which was filled with Lord Vishnu's Shakti energy. He hurled it at Kartikeya, and it hit him with the impact of a massive fireball. It caused Kartikeya to drop down unconscious. Kali immediately lifted her son to her breast and carried him to Lord Shiva. By virtue of his deep knowledge, Lord Shiva revived Kartikeya and endowed him with inexhaustible strength. He then got up full of vigor and remained guarded by Lord Shiva. Goddess Kali then returned to the battlefield. She then began to roar like a lioness, and all the demons fainted. Kali drank wine and danced on the battlefield. When Shankachuda saw Goddess Kali, he hastened to the scene. Shankachuda quickly extinguished a fire weapon hurled by Goddess Kali. Shankachuda matched and neutralized whatever weapon Goddess Kali hurled. Upon seeing the Narayan weapon coming at him, King Shankachuda jumped off his chariot and bowed down to the Narayan weapon, thus causing the weapon to zoom upwards like the fire of final dissolution. Shankachuda, full of devotion, fell prostrate on the ground. He even baffled Goddess Kali's Brahmastra with his own. Infuriated, Shankachuda discharged celestial missiles at the goddess, but she merely opened her mouth wide, swallowed them, and roared with loud laughter. No matter what weapons he threw at her, Goddess Kali equally matched and foiled. Now Kali was infuriated. Just as she readied herself to throw the Pashupata weapon, a heavenly voice from the sky rang out. "O Goddess Kali, do not throw this missile at Shankachuda. As long as Lord Hari's amulet remains upon his neck, and as long as his wife's chastity is not violated, the king cannot be killed. He cannot be killed even by the never-failing Pashupata weapon." Kali heeded the voice and desisted from hurling the weapon. Repeatedly she tried to destroy Shankachuda, but he expertly dodged every maneuver. When she ran after him to swallow him up, the skillful Shankachuda prevented her by expanding his body. The goddess then angrily struck him with her fists and caused the demon enough pain to make him reel and fall unconscious for a moment. Then, regaining consciousness, Shankachuda got up, but he would not engage in hand-to-hand combat with goddess Kali. Rather, he bowed down to her. Regarding her as his mother, he did not aim any weapons at her. Goddess Kali caught hold of him, whirled him around repeatedly, and angrily flung him into the sky. But Shankachuta came down with a tremendous crash and immediately got up and bowed to goddess Kali. Feeling hungry, goddess Kali began drinking the blood and eating the flesh and fat of the demons. When she returned back to the encampment, goddess Kali described to Lord Shiva in detail the progression of the war from beginning to end. The only demons still alive were the ones who crawled out of her mouth while she was chewing them, and that amounted to about 100,000. She then informed her husband, "When I took hold of the Pashupata weapon to kill Shankachuta, an invisible celestial voice cried out, 'Shankachuta cannot be killed by you.' Then the powerful Shankachuta stopped hurling weapons at me. All he did was shatter the ones which I hurled at him." Chapter 13. Lord Shiva enters the battle. As Lord Shiva entered the battleground, he assumed a heroic form and shone well as the incarnation form of the destroyer. When Shankachuta saw him, he got down from his aerial chariot and offered obeisances to Lord Shiva by lying flat on the ground. Then Shankachuta got up and quickly returned to his chariot. Then, seizing his bow and arrows, readied himself for the fight. The fight with Lord Shiva lasted for 1 year. The two heroes showered arrows, missiles, and numerous other weapons fiercely upon one another, just as the same way clouds continuously pelt the earth with rain. Both fighters were equal in ability, weaponry, and valor. No matter what one produced to defeat the other, neither could be succumbed. Even when the infuriated Lord Shiva hit Shankachuta with his trident and knocked Shankachuta unconscious, Shankachuta quickly regained consciousness, grabbed his bow, discharged some arrows, and hit Lord Shiva and his assistants. At one point in the combat, Shankachuta seized a spear that blazed unbearably. As it came near him, Lord Shiva hit Shankachuta in the chest with his trident. Then a huge, valorous being came out of the demon's chest. "Stand by! Stand by!" Lord Shiva laughed loudly, and with his sword cut off the fearsome head that was emerging, and it fell to the ground. Spreading her mouth wide open, Goddess Kali angrily consumed countless demons, crushing their heads with their fierce fangs. After a major portion of Shankachuta's army was killed, many of his remaining terrified troops cowardly fled the battlefield. But Shankachuta stood firm. Then he said to Lord Shiva, "Here I am, ready to fight with you. Come on. So what if many of my men have been killed? Fight me. face to face. Chapter 14. Lord Vishnu appears. The battle raged on. Shankachuta then used different kinds of illusory methods that were invisible and bewildering to the demigods and Lord Shiva's followers. Seeing this, Lord Shiva released his supernatural Maheshvara missiles, and these quickly destroyed the illusions, divesting them of their brilliance. Then the powerful Lord Shiva suddenly grabbed his trident. This trident could not be withstood even by great personalities. But just as he was about to release the trident, an unembodied heavenly voice boomed out. "O Lord Shiva, do not throw this trident now. Listen to this request. There is no doubt that you are able to destroy the entire universe within a second. So what would be the difficulty in destroying this one Danava, Shankachuta? Still, you should not ignore the rules of the Vedas. O Great One, rather make it truthful and fruitful. Understand that Lord Brahma has stated that as long as Shankachuta wears the armor of Lord Vishnu, namely the amulet around his neck, and as long as his wife maintains her marital faithfulness, Shankachuta can neither die nor grow old. He is protected under these boons. Therefore, please make these boons truthful by not violating them." Lord Shiva acquiesced to the divine command. And then, because Lord Shiva desired it, the supreme God himself, Lord Vishnu, appeared there on the battleground. Lord Vishnu agreed to help Lord Shiva. Dressed as an aged Brahmin, Lord Vishnu, the foremost in mystic power, approached Shankachuta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Vishnu in disguise said to Shankachuta, "O King of the Danavas, please grant my request. You always give away in charity all kinds of wealth and riches. So please grant me what I desire. I am but a quiet, peaceful, aged Brahmin. Why, I am very hungry and thirsty. So first promise me that you will honor my request of you, and then I will tell you what I want." With a kind face and pleasing eye, Shankachuta swore to the aged Brahmin, who was actually Lord Vishnu in disguise. The king said he would surely give him whatever he asked for. Then the Brahmin said, with great affection, "I would like your amulet." Admirably, Shankachuta indeed handed over to the disguised Lord Vishnu his divine amulet. Then Lord Vishnu assumed the form of Shankachuta and went to Tulasī-devi's palace.